Pro here, Pro there, Pro everywhere. Is this the Pro for you? Many of you might heard of the ASUS ZenBook, VivoBooks, and even the ASUS ROG series of laptops. So today what we have here in the studio is a series of ASUS ProArt StudioBooks. So you may not heard of the ASUS ProArt StudioBook lineup before. That is perfectly normal because this is meant for those who work in the design industries. They need this kind of super high-end components to help with their work. So just like what I mentioned just now, the ProArt series consists of few different product lineups, including desktop, laptops, monitors, and even motherboards. So this kind of product is actually designed for those people who render stuff 24/7, or even when they have those super huge projects they want to do, especially like creating different sort of architect projects and things like that. Now, we're not going to talk about the desktop or the monitors or even the motherboard itself, because today we're just going to talk about the ProArt StudioBook laptops. As you can see, we have two units over here. The one on my right hand side is a very special one. This is the ASUS ProArt StudioBook 1. Now, the name, they call it 1, there's a reason, because this is the only laptop in the world that uses the NVIDIA Quadro RTX 6000 GPU. Now, if you don't know what does that actually mean, let me just give you some numbers to help you digest a bit. This laptop costs 50,000 ringgit Malaysia. That's about 10,000 US dollar. And just the GPU alone is somewhere around 30,000 ringgit already. So you get the idea why this thing is so expensive. So the name 1 is actually really appropriate because this one is actually a collaboration between ASUS and NVIDIA, where I believe NVIDIA actually involved a lot of the design decision on this one, especially with this gun charger. This charger is capable of providing 300 watt of power to fit into this laptop. For this size, seriously, this is amazing. We haven't really touched about the previous gaming laptops. Sometimes they require more powers. They would require you to bring two bricks and plug in at the same time. Imagine you can do that with just one adapter. It's amazing. Meanwhile, another thing that is really interesting is the design of this laptop. As you can see from here, the lid at the back here opens up to provide airflow into the components. Yes, the hardwares and everything is actually positioned at the back of the display. Meanwhile, the laptop compartment is thinner than the display because it only houses the battery. One thing I don't really like about this design is that it's kind of top heavy. You can't really open it up one-handed, and the keyboard is horrendous. Moving on, apart from this unconventional design, the one, we actually got more standard laptops. Like the one we have here is the ProArt StudioBook Pro 17. Now, the names can be quite confusing, especially if you look into their catalogs. They actually got ProArt StudioBook Pro X17. This one is the ProArt StudioBook Pro 17. They also got the ProArt StudioBook Pro 15. Pro, a lot of pros. But when you go down a little bit, we got like ProArt StudioBook 17 and then ProArt StudioBook 15. So you might be wondering, what is the difference between the Pro 17 and the standard 17? And same goes for the Pro 15 and the 15, right? Well, things are actually not as complicated as you would think of. To put things in a simpler way, this one is Pro 17. It comes with the NVIDIA Quadro GPU. Meanwhile, the non-Pro 17, they call it StudioBook 17, comes with NVIDIA GeForce RTX graphics. So this one is, as you can see, is quite a big boy. It has a 17.3-inch display and the aspect ratio 16:10, my favorite aspect ratio, because even though you might think that 16:9 and 16:10 is quite similar, but actually no. In terms of the vertical viewing experience, this is way better. Especially for a 17.3 inch, it feels like 18 or 19 display. So it's amazing. Meanwhile, I always call this as a big ZenBook. That's the reason behind it, because it literally feels like a ZenBook to me. Except for the design at the lid here, this is more like a single directional brush aluminium finish compared to the ZenBook is more onto the circular brush finish on that. But nonetheless, it handles and feels almost similar like a ZenBook. And this one actually comes with the NVIDIA Quadro T2000 graphics. What really separates the ProArt StudioBook line of laptops? Number one is the ProArt Creator Hub we have over here. Now, one feature I really like is the Work Smart tab over here. As you can see, you can actually allocate different groups of applications for different purposes. For example, if you do image editing, you may actually move those Photoshop or Illustrator into a single group. So, and whenever you enable this group, it will run all the applications you need for the workflow on that. Also, you can also create another group for video editing. So it is all up to you which kind of work you're trying to do and things you're trying to complete on that. Meanwhile, it also comes with this built-in color calibration application. Of course, you still need to have a color calibrator to get this thing to work. So, apart from the software difference is this display. Now, ASUS has claimed that this display is actually Pantone certified for its color accuracy. So, it is best for those graphics designers and video editors. Meanwhile, one thing I say is most important for professionals is the after-sales service. ASUS is actually provide 3 years of on-site service for the ProArt StudioBook line of laptops. So why after-sales service is so important is that for a company, for a professional, this device is their 3M, money-making machine. Imagine when there is a problem with it or there's any issue, troubleshooting, those are very time-consuming and it just wastes a lot of resources. So ASUS has this on-site service, so they come to your office and help you troubleshoot and fix it for you. I think this is the most important factor that differentiates the ProArt series and the rest of it. So that pretty much covers the ProArt StudioBook lineup. I know this is not like your regular laptops, especially for tech creator. We don't really talk a lot about this creator series of laptop because we always talk about games, right? Nonetheless, I believe among you guys gamers, some of you might be interested in content creation like video editing and perhaps 3D rendering and stuff like that. This device could be the one for you. So yeah, do let us know what do you guys think about the ASUS ProArt StudioBook Pro 17 Pro laptops. That's a lot of pros. And I'll see you guys in the next video.